Our story takes place at this place of business in Greenwich, Ohio, near the intersection of Ohio State Route 13 and US Route 224. In July of 2020, Samantha suggested that we investigate at this allegedly haunted location. In addition to Samantha, Thomas, Jonathan, and yours truly, Ghost Hunter Joe, visited the place of business in Greenwich. This is Thomas using the dowsing rods. And this is me on the left using the dowsing rods, while Samantha on the right used the K2 meter, which detects EMFs. This is Samantha and me from a different angle. This is my homemade pendulum and yes/no board, which I made in 2019. The pendulum is probably my most controversial piece of ghost hunting equipment because the user has to hold it very still, and it is humanly possible for the holder to manipulate it, even if unintentionally or subconsciously. But who's to say that this is not the way it's supposed to work, with spirits moving the pendulum through us? To address these concerns with the pendulum, in November 2020, I created this makeshift setup out of plastic coat hangers to hold the pendulum over the yes/no board and avoid human error by removing humans from the equation. Unfortunately, we have found that it is not sturdy and much too difficult to put it together every time we use it. My ghost hunting friend Felicia offered to design and construct a tripod made out of metal, which will be much sturdier and functional. I can hardly wait for her completion of this endeavor and to try it out. In anticipation of criticism over our use of the pendulum, I figured the likelihood of each of us manipulating it was less likely than with just one or two of us, so I had each of us give it a try. This is Jonathan using the pendulum. Please note that we also set a digital recorder, a flashlight, and the K2 meter on the yes/no board. Notice that the K2 meter is lighting up to a 3 out of 5, verifying the response received by the pendulum. Unfortunately, we did not capture any EVPs with the digital recorder, and the flashlight was not turned on by any spirits. This is Thomas using the pendulum. Please note that the K2 meter is lit up to a 2 out of 5. This is Samantha using the pendulum, and the K2 meter is registering a 3 out of 5. And this is me using the pendulum, and the K2 meter is back down to a 2 out of 5. This is a close-up of Samantha using the K2 meter. I don't remember the question that was asked, which provoked this response. Through the K2 meter, dowsing rods, and pendulum, we obtained the following information. The spirit interacting with us indicated that it had died in the garage. It also informed us that it was a male and had killed himself. We asked if there was anyone else on the property, and it indicated that there was someone in the attic. Unfortunately, we were unable to make contact with any entity in the attic. Shortly after our investigation, Samantha informed us that a man who had been a previous owner had indeed committed suicide in the garage. With respect to the attic, prior to our investigation, Samantha and others had heard footsteps overhead in the attic, giving them cause to believe it was haunted. A few months after our investigation, it was discovered that a homeless person was living in the attic. For the record, the spirit who had communicated with us through the K2 meter, dowsing rods, and pendulum did not say that the entity in the attic was dead or ghostly. In March of 2022, we decided to conduct a follow-up investigation at the same location. In attendance were Samantha, Corey, Thomas, and yours truly. I wanted to conduct an interview with Samantha. We chose this tree as a backdrop because Samantha indicated that she and one of her daughters had a lot of good memories associated with it. Unfortunately, due to wind, it and the other video clips recorded outdoors have a poor quality audio, and as you'll see, our interview was interrupted by a noisy tractor. We're in Greenwich, Ohio, and we're at the Barnett Flea Market. Samantha, how do you know the Barnett Flea Market?
It's my parents' shop.
Okay. And have you had any paranormal experiences there?
Yes.
Okay, can you tell us a little bit about it?
Me and my sisters, we played the Ouija board in the garage, and we had heard knocking. We seen lights flashing. There was no possible way that there could be any lights flashing because there was no way of light. I've heard a man walking in the attic. I've heard chains being dragged across the attic. And then me and an ex was in, at the time my parents were living here, and
I didn't hear you.
at the time my parents were living here at the building, and we were in the living room, and we heard from a toy, like a man trying to talk through it, but it didn't. I couldn't understand what it was saying, and then we turned the toy off and it was still making the noises.
We're still at the Barnett Flea Market, and we're standing in front of the garage. Is this the garage you were telling us about a little bit ago?
Yes.
Okay, and from my understanding, somebody died in the garage. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so this property used to be a car dealership, and the guy got really far behind and lost everything, and he couldn't take it, and he came to the garage and shot himself.
Okay, can you tell us about when we visited in July of 2020 with Thomas, Jonathan, you and me?
We did the EMF detector, and we asked them from the pendulum board if there was somebody that died here, and it said yes. And then we asked if they had killed themselves, and it said yes. And they also had told us that there was somebody else living here in the attic.
Okay, and we assumed it was a ghost.
Yes.
Can you tell us what we learned a few months later?
That there was somebody actually living in the attic.
Like a homeless person?
Yes.
Okay, so basically the ghost snitched on the living people.
Yes.
In the next video clip, Corey is using the dowsing rods. We had moved next to the building in order to shield the dowsing rods from the wind we were experiencing. Due to the wind, I'm not confident that we can rely on the seemingly incorrect or contradictory responses received through the dowsing rods. Cross the rods if you're a male. Okay, cross the rods if you're a female. Okay, so we got a female here. Okay, open them up so we can ask another question, please. Okay. Are you the one who killed yourself in the garage, or are you visiting the guy that killed himself in the garage? Well, let me ask it this way. Are you visiting the guy who killed himself? Okay, you're the person who killed himself. Cross if you're the person. Okay, look, go ahead and open up again. I thought that the person who killed himself was male.
It is a male. But there also has been multiple car accidents out here in the past year.
Okay, there was a person who got killed in a car accident. They have a cross in front of the building. Are you that person that the cross is associated with?
It's not.
That was a female?
No, it was a male.
Oh.
But there was, later down the road, there was a woman and a child that got killed right here in front
Okay.
of my parents too.
Are you a woman that got killed in front of the building? Cross if you're a woman that got killed in front of the building. It might be too windy for your dowsing rods. In the next video clip, Thomas is holding a piece of cardboard on which I made the letters of the alphabet while Samantha hovers the K2 meter over the letters. Since someone or something had been lighting up the K2 meter, I had hoped that it was the female spirit which had interacted with Corey through the dowsing rods, and perhaps she could spell out her first name by lighting up the letters on the board as Samantha passed over them, and then if we got a good name, we might possibly be able to later verify that a real person with that name had died in the building or on or near the property. As you will see, unlike during other investigations, we did not have success with this tactic, so I ended it.
Okay, the female that we were talking to earlier, can you light up when Samantha holds the K2 meter above the letter of your first name? A. Your first name begins with an A?
Maybe it's...
Okay, is it Abigail? Adrian? Amanda? Alice?
I could have moved it to B and it lit up more.
Okay. Okay. What's the second letter of your first name? Okay, B. Is it lighting up?
Yes, Sam. A flicker.
C. Okay, AC. You guys know any names that begin with AC? Oh, it's lighting up. Okay. What's the third letter of your first name? A, C, and then A, B, C, D. A, C, D?
ACDC.
D. A, C, D? I'm going to stop it now.
After not getting anywhere with the K2 meter and the cardboard with the letters, I asked Samantha to show me the cross where a man had died in front of her parents' place of business.
Okay, we're still in Greenwich, Ohio. We're still at the Barnett Flea Market. And Samantha, can you tell us about this cross right here in front of the building?
There was a man who got crushed by a semi and he died about right here-ish.
Okay, so that's what this cross is for?
Yep, his sister put it there.
Okay. Do you think he might be one of the entities that haunts this location?
Probably so.
Samantha, who was walking around the back of the property with the K2 meter, which detects electromagnetic fields, pointed out to the group that it was lighting up despite there being no visible electrical lines or telephone wires. It was really strange because the meter was lighting up around 2 or 3 feet off the ground. Samantha wondered if perhaps it was picking up on underground wires, but when she held the meter next to the ground, the meter went off as opposed to getting a stronger signal, which will be the case if they were underground wires. During the following video clip, you'll see Samantha hold the meter approximately 4.5 feet off the ground where it hadn't been lighting up, and then light up upon request. And then you'll see Samantha hold the meter 2 or 3 feet from the ground where it had been lighting up, and then stop upon request. You'll also see me almost join the spirit world. Let's watch.
Okay, I don't understand why it's doing that.
But see, if I get down here, it stops. Then I bring it up here and it lights up.
Okay, can you make it light up now that you're above the ground? Was that about 4.5 feet? Okay. You're making it light up? Is it lighting up?
Yeah.
I'm not seeing it. Oh. I gave you a hard time.
Fucking dick, I bet he did that on purpose.
Okay.
Why else would he do it?
Okay. Light up if you think that was funny. Is it lighting up? Okay. Okay, now bring it back down. Okay, is it lighting up? Okay. Now, see if you can get it to stop lighting up. No, you're lighting up. See if you can make it stop, so we know it's intelligently doing it, not just coincidence. Okay.
Well, that was weird. Just do that. It actually stopped lighting up.
Okay, now, to show it's you, make it light up now. If there's somebody that's doing that by touching it, touch it and make it light up.
It smells shit.
Are you running out of energy? Is it lighting up?
Yeah, it is.
See, it's hard to see in the daytime. At nighttime, it's easier. Okay. Light up if you think that barking dog's annoying. Hey, yes.
Is the building that currently houses the flea market in Greenwich, Ohio, at the intersection of Ohio State Route 13 and US Route 224 haunted by a former owner who killed himself in the garage, or by individuals who were in fatal accidents along these two highways? If so, did the ghostly former owner unwittingly snitch on the homeless person who was living in the attic when we investigated this location during the summer of 2020? Admittedly, the pendulum isn't the best evidence one could hope for, but what about the K2 meter, which seemingly verified the responses by the pendulum? And speaking of the K2 meter, what made it light up 2 or 3 feet off the ground on the back of the property? And what about the dowsing rods indicating that the person who committed suicide in the garage was a female, when Samantha knows it was a male? Could there have been a female who also committed suicide in the garage that Samantha doesn't know about? Maybe. And due to my poor eyesight and poor hearing, I didn't see the K2 meter lighting up on the letter B, or hear Samantha point that out as it happened. So the first 3 letters of her name probably aren't ACD, or maybe the letters ACD are her initials. Also, due to my poor hearing, I didn't catch when Samantha stated that a woman and her child had died in an accident. Could this child be responsible for the K2 meter lighting up 2 or 3 feet off the ground, and the mother when it was 4.5 feet off the ground? Who knows? Anything is possible, but one thing is for sure, I'd love to go back and investigate further. So for now, this is Ghost Hunter Joe saying happy hunting and see you next time.